Hello traders, Gary Wagner here. It is 12:55 in Honolulu, 5:55 in New York. Last trading day of the month, Thursday, November the 30th, 2023, and this is the daily report for gold and silver. Traders, it has been an interesting couple of days to say the least. First, I apologize for recording late today. I just finished an interview with Wall Street Silver, all about silver, which I will be happy to post once it's out of editing, which will be either Saturday or Monday. First to gold. We have been trailing our stop up, buying it long at 188. A number of stops. We raised our stops the other day to 2,053 and change. If we look at the low today, we can see that the low today, which would be right here, came in at 2,051. So we did get stopped out, in at 1988, out at 53 and change, about $6,500 profit per COMEX contract. The margin on that's around $10,000. The exposure time we got in November 15th. So we're looking at a trade where our money was at risk for a little bit over 2 weeks and a 70% return. Not too bad. So the question we have to ask ourselves, for example, you see these three lines as ABC. That would obviously be in a bear count in terms of Elliott wave. My indication is it will either stall at 2060 or 2080. If that's the case and all things are equal, we'd go back into a bear count. However, I do not believe all things are equal. What do I mean by that? The Fed has definitely signaled that there is a reasonable probability that they have ended their restrictive monetary policy of small incremental rate hikes over a massively long period of time. We had one of the most hawkish members of the Federal Reserve saying that he thinks that their job is done and their rates are sufficiently high to get inflation to the 2% target. But one of the things that I mentioned when I was being interviewed today by Ivan over at Wall Street Silver was that just because inflation hits their 2% target, will we see goods and services go down? No, it means they won't go up or go up as fast. And so that's still a quandary that working people have to deal with unquestionably. If the market comes down from this area, on tomorrow's show, Friday's show, I will look at our different fib retracements as well as retracements that are based on logical points like tops or bottoms. I believe that we could see gold challenge not only 2100, but if it does, there's no technical resistance above that point. All things being equal, if we have continued geopolitical turmoil and the Fed is about to cut rates and inflation is still not relatively high, but elevated, I see gold and silver have no place to go but up. Speaking of that, let's take a look at silver. We are looking at a daily candlestick chart of silver. We can see that we had this tremendous gap yesterday. That was moving from one most active contract month to the next and did not come back down and fill the gap. We are now approaching $26 in silver. We have not seen that for quite some time, but I draw your attention to this top. We had silver close effectively above that as well as above that. So in order to get a technical viewpoint, we need to compress the chart. When we do that, we need to go back to this top that came in May, in which we had silver substantially higher, 26.37, here 26.17, and I believe that silver could easily approach that. My concern before was that we were really trapped in a narrow range, and we had some times in which it broke out of the range but didn't have follow through like we have seen in gold. I think that gold has become the safe haven play, and silver is now coming back into alignment with gold, and I am looking for some rather strong moves to the upside in silver. Lastly, I want to take a look at one of the most influential components of the recent rise in gold and silver, because they're paired against the dollar. This is the chart of the dollar index. You can see that at the beginning of October, the dollar index was strong above 107. It hit some lows yesterday at around 102.50. It is now back above 103. It had a tremendous upside move, and yet we saw silver trade higher today. We saw gold only decline fractionally. I believe that we could see resistance at 103 up to about 104.20 in the dollar. I believe at that point it will return to its downward spiral. This has been Gary Wagner wishing you as always good trading. We will talk to you tomorrow for the next daily update and review. Bye-bye.